Now, Raw and SmackDown this week, there were a lot of goings-on, but we'll start with the biggest one, which involves the Bloodline. Now, coming out of SummerSlam last weekend, they had Jimmy Uso return and cost his brother the championship in the main event against Roman Reigns. I am not sold on this whole Jimmy versus Jey, brother versus brother thing, and obviously the match itself at SummerSlam was a dud. Part of that is the fact that Roman Reigns apparently got hurt 5 minutes into the match, so I'm sure that didn't help. But we were waiting for the explanation on Friday night. They promoted this Hail to the Chief segment where Jimmy Uso was going to come out, he was going to acknowledge Roman Reigns. And Jimmy Uso did come out, he did not acknowledge Roman Reigns. He did not leave SummerSlam with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. So even then it looked like, okay, he may not be back in the Bloodline, but why did he do what he did? What's the explanation that they're going to come up with? Are they just going to go with the whole jealousy angle, I want to be the tribal chief and not you, which would be the predictable way to go? Jimmy comes out and he says that he did what he did because he loves Jey. He did what he did not because of jealousy, but because he was afraid. He was afraid to lose his brother. If he would have beaten Roman Reigns, he would have become tribal chief, and then what? What happens to the Usos? Right? Not only that, but he would have been inheriting some kind of power that makes him just like Roman, corrupted. He would never be able to live with himself if he had to watch his brother become an egotistical asshole like Roman Reigns. And then Jey came out and they had a face-to-face, and Jey is telling him, I'm about to throw 37 years of our relationship down the drain if you don't tell me why you did what you did. And he said, look, if you want to hate me, that's fine, but I did what I did because I love you. And then what followed was Jimmy leaving the ring. Jey Uso ends up taking out Solo. He takes out Roman. He tells his brother, hold up a second. Jey leaves the ring. He calls for his brother to come back down to the ring. Maybe they're going to hug. And then he ends up taking down Jimmy with a super kick. So now everybody except Heyman, everybody is down. And that's when Jey Uso looks into the camera and says he's done with the Bloodline, he's done with SmackDown, and he's done with WWE. He quit WWE, and he left through the crowd. So we had a cliffhanger ending on Friday night with Jey Uso seemingly walking out on the company. And they've already moved Jey on the website to the alumni section. As far as the explanation from Jimmy, at least it's not the predictable jealousy angle that they could have easily taken. They went in a different way. They took a different approach with it, where he doesn't want his brother to become like Roman. Again, you got to really buy into this here, because we just saw the Usos united only a few months ago, right? Trying to take down Roman Reigns. This match has been promoted now for several weeks. Now, Jimmy's been out. He's been out hurt. And not on television for a while, but this match has been promoted for so long, and they go to SummerSlam and this big show in front of 50,000 people, and like in storyline, you got to know that Jimmy knows how much this means to his brother. It's the biggest night of his life. It's the biggest match of his career. And then at the very last moment, only when it looks like Jey has the match won, he fucks his brother over and then kicks him in the face. You got to really suspend your disbelief for some aspects of this. It's not a terrible explanation. Like, I can understand what they were going for with it. But still, I was kind of like, all right. Like, it wasn't like I had this eureka moment watching the show on Friday where I said, oh, that's a good one. That's a great explanation I wasn't thinking of there. It was just kind of like, all right, they needed to come up with a way to keep this story going and try to explain why he did what he did, and that's what they came up with. And now the question is, with Jey quote-unquote quitting, are they really going to drag this out until WrestleMania? Because I'm still not 100% convinced that we're not getting the first match at Payback in a few weeks. And look, I'm not sold on the idea of Jimmy against Jey. This is not an idea that I was looking forward to, but it is something they told Ariel Helwani last month that they really wanted to do. Jey said that their number one dream is to have a WrestleMania match against each other. Like, they literally were just talking about this weeks ago. It doesn't mean that I don't think it can be good. I think it could be great. I'm just not sold on the idea right now. But if they are going to hold off on doing the match until WrestleMania, which is something that WrestleVote said was being discussed, not doing the match at Payback, trying to stretch this out until WrestleMania 40, I think doing what they did and having Jey quit is the only way to make it work. Otherwise, they're going to burn it out before that. So if they're committed to this as a WrestleMania idea, then Jey walking out and taking a few months off was the right move. You know, I'm sure his sister-in-law can always get him a gig with Impact if he wants one. But there's something else I would like to see them do. If this is what they're doing here, if Jimmy and Jey are going to take a back seat for a while, and right now it looks like there may not be a bloodline match of any kind at Payback next month. What I'd like to see them do is get Roman Reigns in the ring with other people that he has not wrestled yet during this run. He's got potential matches waiting for him with Sheamus, with Bobby Lashley, and with AJ Styles. All three might be ambitious, given the schedule that Roman Reigns is working, so let's say even just Sheamus and AJ. Right, we'll spare Lashley the predictable loss. Let's say Sheamus and AJ. Right, Sheamus made comments recently in an interview about nobody giving a shit about Roman before COVID. And the bloodline taking up time on the shows from other people. It sounded like he was trying to work his own angle. They could play off of that. You know, Roman is not working Payback next month, but there's Fastlane in October. There's the next Saudi show in November. There's Survivor Series, although the new Survivor Series poster just dropped and he's nowhere to be found on it. There's the Royal Rumble. There's Elimination Chamber. Roman defended his title at Rumble and Elimination Chamber this year. He should defend the title on at least 2 of those shows. He didn't defend the championship a single time on television between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, which is ridiculous. I don't want to see that again. There are very good matchups for him and people that he can work with in the interim, even if they get away from the bloodline family drama for a few months and kind of let it simmer and let it cool and then bring it back up when we get closer to WrestleMania season. And then also, you know, when we get closer to WrestleMania season, that's when they ramp things up for the rematch between Roman and Cody. So if this is what they're doing, I would like to see them take that direction with Roman Reigns and not just have him sitting at home until Survivor Series and then maybe, you know, he has a match there and then we don't see him again for another 2 or 3 months.